Imagine a book, not of paper or ink, but of absolute reality. A book that serves not as a vessel for a story, but as a gateway to another world. In 1993, an indie studio named Cyan Worlds opened that book and changed video game history forever. Decades later, they invite us to step through the looking glass once more. Built from the ground up in Unreal Engine, playable on standard screens, or fully immersed in virtual reality, this is a return to a timeless enigma, back to that starky, beautiful island, eerily tinged with mystery and shrouded in intrigue. This is Myst.
Once I hit you with that bad space, you ain't coming back. No control, oh, the let you give me space like time. Hit you with that bad space, you ain't coming back.
Alright, let's talk about the story. Myst doesn't give you a tutorial, a map, or even tell you who you are. You just drop straight into a deserted island, and you're immediately left wondering, what do I do? But as you start looking around, you find this old library. Inside, there are two ruined books holding the trapped spirits of two brothers, Sirrus and Achenar. They speak to you through these super glitchy, creepy video transmissions, and honestly, they're both completely unhinged. Both of them are begging for your help, both claim they're innocent, and both swear the other is a total psychopath and who betrayed the family. To figure out who's lying, you have to travel to these different worlds called ages to find their missing pages. And it turns into a really dark and twisted family drama. And the best part is that the game leaves the final choice entirely up to you. Now, gameplay. Myst is pretty much the hardest puzzle game I've ever played. Well, it doesn't hold your hand. And full disclosure, I came into this review not knowing anything about it. So I knew nothing about the 93 version at all. There's like no combat. There's no inventory. It's you, your brain, what's left of it, and how well you can pay attention to details. You're going to be dealing with everything from a massive like clock tower gears to puzzles based entirely on sound cues. It's ridiculous. If you played the 93 original, you probably remember having like a physical notebook next to your keyboard. You know, having to write all the notes and stuff. Thankfully, in the remake, they fixed that whole thing by adding an in-game camera tool, so you can just take quick snapshots of clues. Also, if you're a veteran and you think you know all the answers, Cyan added a puzzle randomizer mode that completely scrambles the solutions. It's incredibly smooth, and because the developers built this version from the ground up with VR in mind, playing it with a headset is a whole different beast. Reaching out to physically flip switches, spinning the wheels, and pull the levers that make the island feel incredibly real. Now, I didn't get a chance to play it in VR, so I don't know 100% how it actually does feel. Those are some of the just comments I saw in Steam. Moving on to the music, or really the lack of it sometimes. The audio design here, though, is brilliant because it never tries to force an epic orchestral score down your throat. Instead, it's all about the subtle, haunting synth tracks and ambient background noise. Every single age you visit has its own distinct acoustic vibe. It's super minimalist, but it builds up this incredible tension out of nowhere. Honestly, the silence between the music notes feels just as heavy as the soundtrack itself. You kind of hear yourself inside your brain as you're reading these books and trying to figure out these puzzles. It's kind of eerie. But if there's one thing Myst absolutely does nail above everything else, it's the vibe. This game is awesome at making you feel isolated. The island is beautiful, but it's also deeply unsettling. Everything works perfectly, everything looks pristine, but there's nobody there. It's creepy. You constantly get this eerie, lingering feeling that you're exploring the ruins of something you shouldn't be messing with, or that someone is watching you from the shadows. I felt like I was always turning around to make sure no one was watching me. It perfectly blends a surreal fantasy world with the old school steampunk technology, giving it a mood that just totally feels frozen in time. Now, 30 years later, Cyan's masterpiece proves that a great design never ages. Whether you're a returning explorer looking to experience this world in a whole new dimension, or a newcomer that's ready to test your wit against a legendary challenge, this remake stands as the definitive way to play a classic. The portal is open, the pages are waiting, and the choice is yours. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Did you trust Sirrus or Achenar? Until next time, be kind, love one another, and don't be a dick. See ya.